So single phase induction motor, at the end of the lecture, you will be able to learn need of single phase induction motor, construction of single phase induction motor, principle of operation of single phase induction motor, making single phase induction motor self-starting. So first we will see what is the need of single phase induction motor. We use the single phase power system more widely than three phase system for domestic purposes, commercial purposes, and some extent in industrial uses. Because the single phase system is more economical than a three phase system. Power requirement in most of the houses, shops, offices are small, which can be easily met by a single phase system. The single phase motors are simple in construction, cheap in cost, reliable and easy to repair and maintain. Due to all these advantages, the single phase motor finds its application in vacuum cleaners, fans, washing machines, centrifugal pumps, blowers, refrigerators, and etc. So next we will see here construction of single phase induction motor. As you know already, three-phase induction motor has mainly two parts, stator and rotor. So similarly, single-phase induction motor also has two main parts. One is stator, other one is rotor. So stator as its name indicates, stator is a stationary part of induction motor and the rotor is a rotating part of an induction motor. The rotor connects the mechanical load through the shaft. The rotor in the single-phase induction motor is of squirrel cage type. So whereas in three-phase induction motor, we are having two types of rotors. One is squirrel cage type, other one is wound type, phase wound type or slip ring type. Okay, but whereas in single phase only, we are having only one type of rotor, that is squirrel cage type only. So here you can see stator of single phase induction motor. So the stator of the single phase induction motor has laminated stamping to reduce eddy current losses on its periphery. The slots are provided on its stamping to carry stator or main winding. Stampings are made up of silicon steel to reduce the hysteresis losses. Single phase induction motors are mostly provided with concentric coils. The MMF, magneto-motive force distribution, MMF distribution is almost sinusoidal. Single phase induction motor has two stator windings, namely the main winding and the auxiliary winding. These two windings are placed in space quadrature to each other. So next we will see the rotor here. Here you can see here the rotor of single phase induction motor as well as stator also. So this is the rotor. This is the stator. This is the stator. So the rotor is cylindrical and has slats all over its periphery. The slats are not made parallel to each other but are a little bit skewed. You can see here these slats are just here not parallel here. So a little bit slanted. Okay. So these are the ones just here skewed. The squirrel cage rotor consists of aluminium, brass or copper bars. These aluminum or copper bars are called rotor conductors and placed in the slots on the periphery of the rotor. The copper or aluminum rings permanently short the rotor conductors called the end rings. So here the end rings are there at the edges of rotor here. Usually here this is the one end ring, this is the other end ring. So we will see the principle of operation of single phase induction motor. Uh, when motor is fed from a single phase supply, its stator winding produces a flux which is only alternating, that is one which alternates along one space axis only. It is not a synchronously revolving flux as in the case of a two or three phase stator winding fed from two or three phase supply. So this point explains, already in three-phase induction motor, the supply is three-phase supply. So there we get here three-phase revolving flux, that is rotating flux which revolves at synchronous speed. So in this single phase induction motor, we're having only pulsating or alternating flux acting on a stationary squirrel cage rotor cannot produce rotation. That is why a single phase motor is not self-starting. However, if the rotor of such a machine is given an initial start by hand or otherwise in either direction, then immediately a torque arises and the motor accelerates to its final speed. This peculiar behavior of the motor has been explained in two ways: by two-field or double-field revolving theory and by cross-field theory. So why single-phase induction motor is not self-starting motor? This can be explained by using double-field revolving theory. So this theory makes use of idea that an alternating uniaxial quantity can be represented by two oppositely rotating vectors of magnitude. Here you can see in the figure here, the flux is here divided into two fluxes. Okay, one is oscillating in clockwise direction, the other one is oscillating in anti-clockwise direction, and the magnitude of these fluxes is here is of the total flux. Suppose the flux is taken as here pi max, then each one having just pi max by 2, pi max by 2. So both are revolving in opposite directions. One is in clockwise, other one is counterclockwise or anti-clockwise. So accordingly, an alternating sinusoidal flux can be represented by two revolving fluxes, each equal to half the value of the alternating flux and each rotating synchronously in opposite direction. So both fields are rotating with synchronous speed, and that is 1s equal to 120 f by p, where f is the supply frequency and p is the number of stator poles. And here see here the fluxes are revolving. So initially here initially both fluxes are in the same direction. The total flux is becomes here pi equal to pi max, that is condition at theta equal to 0 degrees. Suppose theta equal to theta, any angle here, you can see the resultant flux once again it becomes here after some time the resultant flux would be 2 into pi m by 2. Pi m by 2 is the magnitude and cos of 2 theta by 2, which is equal to pi m cos theta. So we're having a pi m cos theta. So here at theta equal to pi by 2, at theta equal to pi by 2 or 90 degrees here. So both fluxes are here in opposite directions. Okay, in opposite directions, and hence here the total flux becomes here 0. Total flux becomes here 0, and theta equal to pi or 180 degrees here. So both are in the same direction. Here the total flux becomes here minus pi flux. So here you can see here there is a pulsating or sinusoidal flux as a function of a space angle here. Whenever theta is varying here, suppose if we take a one cycle here, theta equal to 0 degrees to 360 degrees here. So we're having just here how this flux is here varying here. Now the flux is varying, that is a flux initially at theta equals 0 degrees, we are having a positive flux, and it is here decreasing and going in negative direction and coming to 0 once again and coming to positive direction, the moving in the positive direction, and finally it reaches to pi m. So here the flux is here pulsating one, and also it is exactly a sinusoidal one here. Just now we saw the alternating or pulsating flux is here divided into two fluxes. Those fluxes are, one is forward rotating flux, other one is backward rotating flux. So the slip of the rotor with respect to forward rotating flux is S, and with respect to backward rotating flux is 2 minus S. So each of the two component fluxes while revolving around the stator cuts the rotor, induces an EMF, and this produces its own torque. Obviously the two torques, so two torques are, one is produced by forward rotating flux, other one is backward rotating flux. So forward torque is taken as a TF, backward torque is taken as a TB. So the two torques oppositely directed so that the net or resultant torque is equal to their difference. So as shown in figure, so here in speed torque characteristics of single phase induction motor, you can see here forward torque, backward torque, and here how they are varying with respect to slip. When slip is varying here, forward slip is there, backward slip is there. When slips are here varying forward and backward, the torques also are varying. So in this slide, we will see the equations related to double field revolving theory. So the power developed by rotor is Pg is equal to 1 minus S by S into I2 square R2 watts, where I2 is the rotor current, R2 is the rotor resistance. If N is the rotor speed in RPS, in revolutions per second, then torque is given by Tg is equal to 1 by 2 pi n 1 minus S by S into I2 square R2 Newton meter. Now the rotor speed N equal to Ns into 1 minus S. Substituting in Tg, we get Tg is equal to 1 by 2 pi Ns I2 square R2 by S Newton meter. Hence Tg is equal to some constant here, some constant k. K is equal to 1 by 2 pi Ns K into I2 square R2 by S Newton meter. Hence, the forward and backward torques are given by Tf equal to K into I2 square R2 by S Newton meter, and backward torque Tb is equal to minus K I2 square R2 by 2 minus S Newton meter. And the total torque is T equal to Tf plus Tb. So from the figure, both torques and the resultant torque for slips between 0 and 2 at standstill S equal to 1 and 2 minus S equals so 1 here, that is here forward slip and a backward slip. Hence Tf and Tb are numerically equal, but being oppositely directed produce no resultant torque. That explains why there is no starting torque in a single phase induction motor. However, if the rotor is started somehow, say in the clockwise direction, the clockwise torque starts increasing, and at the same time the anti-clockwise torque starts decreasing. Hence, there is a certain amount of net torque in the clockwise direction which accelerates the motor to full speed. So just now we saw single phase induction motor is not self-starting. So to make self-starting, so that is here to overcome this drawback, that is self-starting. To overcome this drawback and make the motor self-starting, it is temporarily converted into a two-phase motor during starting period. So actually it is a single phase induction motor, only single phase is there. Due to single phase, okay, we can't get a revolving flux. So initially we need to do here single phases into two phases, single phase into two phases. That is, we need to connect here one more winding here. So that winding is known as here starting winding. So we're having here two stator windings. One is stator winding, other one is a main winding or running winding. So these two windings are spaced 90 degrees electrically apart and are connected in parallel across the single phase supply as shown in figure. Here you can see here two windings are there, starting winding and main winding. So the angle between these two are just here 90 degrees electrically apart but are connected parallel to the single phase supply. It is so arranged that the phase difference between the currents in the two stator windings is very large. So the ideal value is 90 degrees. Hence the motor behaves like a two-phase motor. These two currents produce a revolving flux and hence make the motor self-starting. So next, making single-phase induction motor self-starting. So these are the methods. By which the necessary phase difference between the two currents can be created. So by using here, the first method is here resistance split phase motor. The second one is capacitor split phase motor. So in capacitor split phase motor, we are having two types. One is capacitor start motor and capacitor. Second one is just capacitor start and capacitor run motor. And the third one is shaded pole motor. So we will discuss about these methods in the next video lecture. Thank you.